Welcome to the HEMC Analytics Daily Market Commentary. I'm Paulo Navarro. Today is Friday, January 18, 2013. For the market internals, the New York Stock Exchange Advanced Decline Differential closed at 811. Nasdaq Advanced Decline Differential closed at 182. We had 91 new 52-week highs for the S&P 500 and no new 52-week lows for the S&P 500. For the volatility, 781,000 contracts traded on the VIX today, with 64 million in total premiums paid. For the dollar-weighted put-call ratio in February, we got a neutral reading of 1.21 with 47% of the total premiums paid. On January, a 0.26 reading, which is bearish, with 25% of the total premiums paid. April, May, June, and July, all of them had bearish readings. And the one important was April, which had 16% of the total premiums paid. Here we have a daily chart for SPX. Here we have an update, 5 handles or 0.34% for the day. Very nice. Closing at the highs of the day. We have here, we remember about talking about the 1494 target after we broke out of yesterday's range. Now we're looking at 1500 as our first target and 1523 as our next target here for SPX on the daily chart. On the weekly chart for SPX here, we continue to be on the +1, +2 sigma channel. And I'm looking here, we're finishing at the highs of the week. As you can see also, CI's turning higher very nicely here from the lows to the highs. I'm still looking for higher prices as we mentioned on the daily chart. On the weekly chart, our first target is going to be 1523, pretty much the same as our second target on the daily chart. So that's interesting here. For SPY, we broke the 148 level we've been talking about for a while now, and I'm now looking for 152 as our next target. Not 150, but 152 is going to be my next target here on SPY on the weekly chart. For the Q's weekly chart here we talked about this last week. Head and shoulders formation here. It looks like we're forming. I do want to break here that 68.25 level to break that formation of that head and shoulders and continue to make a higher high. That would make us a pretty nice pattern here of higher highs here. I'm looking for a break of that 68.25 as I just mentioned. Then testing the 70 level and even going higher. I think the Nasdaq's going to outperform from here on the next couple of months. Next week we have very important earnings for the Nasdaq. We have Apple, Google, Netflix, IBM, and a couple of more very important. So keep an eye on the earnings, how are they coming out, and let's see if we're able to break this. If not, we're making this head and shoulders, means we're probably going to go lower. So it's going to be critical what happens next week here. For the Iwm Weekly Chart, this is the Russell 2000 ETF. We finished almost at the highs of the week, which was pretty good. We touched our 88 target we had for a while. Now we're looking for 90 as our next target here on IWM. We're going to keep that target still. For the transportation index, Dow Jones Transportation, we made an all-time high this week here on this index, and we finished at the highs of the week. I still think we have some upside potential. I'm looking for the 5,800 as our next target and possibly overbought levels in the very short term. So keep an eye for that 5,800 level. For the Dow Jones Composite, here we have it. We finished at the highs of the week, pretty nice. I still think we have 100 more points here on this index to the upside before we're starting to see some topping signs on the short term. So let's look at the short term here. Maybe try to play a correction here, maybe to this 4,600 level once we get to the 4,750 level. GLD, here we have it. We had this 100-week moving average acting as support. We talked about it. We were waiting to see if we break. We did not. Now we're going higher. I'm looking if we're able to make a new lower high here, maybe around this 64 level. Try to turn around and break to the downside. I'm looking for that. If not, maybe come to this 170 level as our next resistance. So let's keep an eye if we're starting to turn to the downside around this 64, 65 level, or if we're going to go back to the 170. For silver, very nice here. The 50-week moving average hold as support, and now we're breaking here now to the upside. We're watching for here, maybe come and test that 32.52 level on the weekly chart. That's gonna take a couple of 1 or 2 weeks from here, so that might be a good target on the upside. If we do fail at that 100-week moving average, we'll have a couple of lower highs here, as you can see, and maybe looking for a break of that 50-week moving average that has been holding so well. Last chart we're gonna look at is the VIX, the weekly chart. We've been at the lowest level since 2007. This does not mean we're gonna bounce back tomorrow or next week. We could still continue to be at this low levels on the VIX, 12, 13, 14 for a long time. Go back to 2005, 2006, 2007. Very low levels on the VIX. This doesn't mean anything here. It doesn't mean we are at top or at a bottom. Just look at the VIX on an intraday or interday basis, not on the actual level that it is.